Yes, I can hear you
Okay.
now.
The question is, why is it that people in marital relationship, some people, not all though, why do they lack sexual integrity?
Wow. Well, that's a very serious one. Well, sexual integrity in marriage actually begins with the person, the people involved. That is the individual spouses. Now, as a single person, were they do they have integrity sexual wise before getting into marriage? Now, if as a single entity they lack sexual integrity, by the time they come into that marriage, there is every probability that there will be a problem with their sexual integrity. And now, for those who does have the sexual integrity even before marriage, when they come into marriage, there could be challenges that could make them actually to begin to have challenges with their integrity sexual wise. So, in such situation, you look at the relationship between those spouses. How smooth is this marital relationship? How smooth is their communication, strength within the two of them? Now, when there is a problem of trust, when there is a problem of uh, misunderstanding among the two, trying to strive. This is what I want, this is what I don't want, this is what I like, this is what I don't like. There could be a problem of with their sexual integrity. When they are losing connection, which could be as a result of so many factors, so many factors. When they are losing connection between the two of them, there could be a problem of sexual, there could be a challenge with their sexual integrity. So, when the man, for example, now, when the man is beginning to see what he is not attracted to, it begins to affect his mind. And when it's affecting his mind, and because his mind is beginning to have some challenges, then there is a probability of him to begin to move into problem of sexual immorality. Such the same with the lady. If the lady begin to lose it emotionally and is losing interest in such a man, there could be a problem, you know. So, in other words, there is somehow a third party, directly or indirectly, that is coming between them sexually. Sexually, it could be visual. I mean, it could be by virtual, maybe through books or through I mean pictures, in terms of maybe the man is giving into pornography or giving into some other things that that is sexually arousing him or sexually satisfying him or her. Then there could be just problem. In other words, there's something, there is a third party that is coming in between the two of them in terms of their sexuality. So before you know it, in a matter of time, there will be a problem of sexual immorality, and then sometimes if it is complaints, maybe one of them is always complaining, I cannot do this, I cannot do that, sexual wise. It is not a strong excuse, but then you begin to see some challenges with their, because the heart begin to move out of that relationship and begin to appreciate, in quote now, begin to appreciate what is not supposed to appreciate. And in a matter of time, that begin to occupy the mind of any of them. And that is a third party that is already occupying their sexual life and begin to have challenges with their sexual integrity.
Thank you so very much. Thank you. I want to thank IMS Ada01, and I would like to thank Koy Adami for being here this afternoon. I would like to say that for a man or a woman to lose her sexual integrity, like you said earlier, there are things that is going on within the man or the woman's thoughts, you know, what the woman has been experiencing personally. And as a matter of fact, I realize that pornography is one of the things that is causing problem when it comes to lack of sexual integrity in a marital relationship. How would you say pornography has created lack of sexual integrity in a marital relationship?
Yeah, I must really say here that pornography itself, it's a major, major problem, both for the married and for the unmarried. Now, for the married, they will say that we want to learn some things, so they give into pornography. Now, the question is, what do you gain as a married person from pornography? Okay, if they're having problem with their sexuality, maybe complain, maybe you have the libido is not balanced, or maybe there is a more demand from one or the other, and then in the course of trying to satisfy each other, they tend to go and say, okay, let me go and learn, and then they go to pornography. Now, the danger of pornography is this. Number one, the pornography you are watching is not real. It's not real. It's being acted. And if you are watching a pornography of 1 hour, it could cost about a week to put that 1 hour together. That particular scene that you are using it as a yardstick for your spouse, it could be a scene of about 30 minutes, or a scene of about 5 minutes, or a scene of about 1 hour, and you are expecting your spouse to last as long or to produce the kind of style that you see in that pornography. Now, that is acting. It's a film, it's a production, it's been acted. It could be for a span of a whole day, or 2-3 days, or 1 week, or 2 weeks before they edit those things together. But you are watching it in your house, and you are saying, oh, this man is strong, oh, this woman is strong, and because of that you want to give in to that pornography and make it as a yardstick for your spouse. It is being acted, you should know that. Secondly, you should know that those people who are into pornography acting, majority of them are on drugs. They have something that is aiding them to do what they are doing. It is not about the act, it is about the money they make from it. So it is a make-believe. But many don't know that. The guys who are involved in those problems, I mean, in that pornography, they are a bunch of guys who are on drugs, and whatever they want to do, they take that drug so that they can be able to achieve what they want to achieve. But you don't know. You want to sit down and say, oh, I want to learn from it. The question is, if you are learning from it, are you an actor too? Number two, if you are learning from it, are you going to take the drugs that they are taking? Now, which is a no-no for me. So for a married couple who want to learn, or who say they enjoy pornography, or it is pornography that turns me on. If it is pornography that turns you on in your marriage, definitely something is wrong with that marriage sexually. There's a major problem. So you need to sit down, discuss it, or you look for a counselor, and to be able to identify what is wrong and to be able to correct it. Because if nothing is wrong, then you will not be looking for something to steer you up outside your spouse.
Thank you so much. Tommy 27, thank you for joining us here. You said that pornography is a major problem, and the reason why some couples have decided to go that route is because they are looking for something to stir them up sexually.
To arouse them, yeah.
If to arouse them, okay, if pornography is not the solution, I'd like to ask, what do you think couples can do to achieve positive sexuality in the right manner without losing their sexual integrity?
Yeah. This is much simpler today like it used to be in those days. Simpler in the sense that today there are books, you have written books in that respect that could help them, that they could read. Let everyone seek for knowledge. There are counselors here and there that you can talk to. It is no longer, we are no longer in the world of don't speak to third party. Only what you need to do is to speak to the third party that knows. And there are third parties that are today gifted people that you can talk to, and you explain your challenges, and then they will help you out. And what they will do is to first of all find out what works for A may not work for B. If there is no health challenges, if the challenges are psychological or physiological or has to do with your system, it can be iron, it can be worked out. It can be worked out. When you meet a counselor, they will be able to understand what your peculiar challenges are and how to be able to resolve those peculiar challenges. A good example for a man who has just probably lost a contract or lost a job or lost as a loss that would have headed his capital in this business. Such man naturally is emotionally down. Yes, there's a challenge. When it comes to sexuality, men tends to relieve stress with sexuality. But as at the time that he's releasing that stress, he is not emotionally capable to deliver, especially to the satisfaction of that woman sexually. He doesn't have the ability as at that time because he's emotionally down. All he can do at that period is that he wants to ease himself up. So that's not the time to demand that, oh, the man has to satisfy me or this and no. You got to be realistic with issues because he's emotionally down. So in such situation, that man has to be, the problem is not the sex now. The problem is what he has lost. And he must learn how to undo his loss, because lost or a loss of things or loss of opportunities, disappointment, they are part of life. They are part of life. So you must just learn how to deal with challenges that are part of life, that you don't bring the outside challenges into your home and then ruin your life. So those are major challenges here. Those are major challenges. You must just learn how to be able to help yourself. Yeah.
Thank you so much. I realize that one of the major problems when we talk about sexual integrity is the issue of temptation.
Okay.
I realize that temptation is everywhere. When I mean everywhere, where you walk, even in the church, there are temptations
everywhere
all around.
Yeah.
Talk about in a social gathering, there are temptations everywhere. Like I said, that temptation is one of the things that can cause lack of sexual integrity.
Okay.
Now, as a man, how do you handle sexual temptation in order to be able to keep your sexual integrity?
Well, generally speaking, it's almost the same principle that applies to man, also to a woman. Even for the married and unmarried, there are some general principles. Now, for those who are married, you must first of all understand that you must have a break to your sexual life. What do I mean by a brake? You know, can you imagine a car? You are driving a car without a brake. You can imagine the end of that car. It's going to run into the ditch. It's going to cause accident. It can kill anybody. It can kill both the driver and every occupant of that car. It can kill everybody, you know, it sees. Now, for anyone who cannot control his or her sexual urge, is he or she is like a car without a brake. And if an engineer makes a car and he puts a brake there, it tells you that to some extent there is the usefulness for that brake, either to stop, to park, or to control or to regulate that car. So also is sexual urge or sexual drive or desire for sex. In every human being, we all need to sit down as a person and deal with our sexual drive. Sexual drive is holy. Sexual drive is good. Sexual drive is created by God, and it is in every man except those who have been made to become celibacy. If you are not a celibacy or you are not into celibacy, you should be able and learn how to control your sexual urge. So for somebody who is married, it begins first with the mind. Because you see, why it's easy for us to talk about sexual integrity is that sexuality itself is more of the mind. If the mind is not right, you have only done the physical side. You have not dealt with the totality of sexuality, because the sexual act involves the body, the spirit, and the soul. Consciously and unconsciously, when you get into any sexual act, your spirit man is involved, either good or bad. So for your soul to be involved, you need effort, because this sexuality has to do with the mind. So if the man or the woman does not have a clear mind of what their sexuality is, for example, a married person who does not know that my sexual act begins and ends with my wife, you will have problems. Now, men are naturally moved by sight. So when such men are seeing things and cannot decode it and appropriate it, he's going to have problem, because he will follow the direction of what he sees, and that's going to damage his life. So he has to have a clear mind. He has to be vigilant with his mind. What comes into his mind? You see, the five senses are involved in sex. Five senses are involved in sex. Now, when the eye sees it, the heart receives it and begin to process it. Now, if it's not a man that is given to, that is not too carried away by sight, is he a man that imagines things, that goes into fantasies? Or is it a lady or a woman that go into fantasy? What is fantasy? Fantasy is like you are imagining unrealistic, improbable, damaging images. When we were growing up, we used to have books that we were writing our fantasies, because it was the in thing. And I know probably some young people are still doing that, but it damages life. I'm experienced enough to tell you that there is nothing good about that, because when you go into all those, fantasies, where you end up is the mental image that are not realistic, and you now begin to stress your mind on what you cannot achieve. So you got to have a clear mind, and when you have a clear mind, for a man now, physically now, you got to be careful of your association in your social life. In your social life, yes, in your social life, in your social gathering, you got to be careful of those you socialize with. If those you socialize with don't bring a clear cut between what is sexually right and sexually wrong, and you yourself does not understand what your sexual value is or are, in a matter of time you are going to follow the trend. And when you follow the trend, it may be good for A, it may not be good for you. It will definitely damage you. So you got to understand that at a certain point, I mean, at in a socializing, you got to define those you socialize with socially. Also, you need to understand at a certain point, you need to run, learn how to run. You have to run. Yes, there's a place of running. Running. Yes, you see, like you talked about temptation the other time. When you see, you run with your mind and you run with your leg. In some occasion, you may not be able to run with your leg because you might have been in that close place. But at that point, you need to run with your mind. How do you run with your mind? You are in the face of situation, you are in that challenges, you are looking at what is happening, but you are telling yourself that no, I am not going to be involved in it. There is no way to run physically, but your mind does not entertain what you are seeing at that point. And it takes a lot of discipline, it takes a lot of training, and then you need to be honest with yourself. You see, there are times you deceive yourself. That's where the issue of integrity is. There is nothing, we are not going to be able to check how much of integrity do you have or how good you are in integrity. But you see, you yourself can be able to check yourself and know. For example, I've had some mentors. I won't mention names, but I will tell you about two of them, what they have said to me, in terms of in terms of sexuality. One of them said to me, he said, if I have just finished my act, that is what he does, and then very good, everybody is applauding and he does well, and then he found himself they put him in the hotel, maybe he's out of station, they lodge him in an hotel and he's sleeping, and while he's sleeping there, feeling very fine and feeling very fulfilled, he made a mention of a particular artist, because that formed the physical sexual image that he appreciates, that of his wife. He said if he sees any lady that has such figures and come to him at that point and the lady is naked, he said, I cannot tell you what will happen. He said, so what I will do is that I will build blocks around myself so that such person will not be able to get to me. The other person told me, he said, he's a man too, he said, I am going to help myself by the reason of what I do. Whoever is going to be my secretary cannot be a lady. Not because a secretary, of course the best of secretaries are ladies, but because he knows himself, he wants intimacy, he knows that his work cannot go on without a proper secretary. So, but he made it a point that at this stage of my life, if I'm going to get a secretary that will work with me very well, it has to be a man. So, it's a phase. It's a phase. Many of you out there might have gone beyond that phase that you can relate with anybody at any time. You just have to be honest with yourself. Be sincere with yourself. Be open to yourself. This is go for those who are married. Open to yourself. You see, when somebody is getting into your mind outside your wife, deal with it before the thing deals with you. When somebody is getting into your mind, taking your emotional life outside your husband, deal with it. Because that what you see in that person can be created in your spouse, and if it cannot be created, relate to what you have. Relate to what you have. What you have, the other person too does not have it.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I like the direction you have been going, taking the discussion here and there. I'd like to thank Adeloki Adebayo for being here. I'd
Oh,
like to
that's
thank
great.
Aye Mommy for joining us this afternoon. I'd like to ask you, um, I've seen a situation whereby a lot of young ladies um, lost their sexual integrity because they are trying to make ends meet. For example, a lady who is looking for employment opportunity and meets a man who is not morally upright, a boss who is not morally upright, who says, well, before you can have this job, we have to hang out and maybe have some kinds of intimacy. And as a result of what the lady is looking for, because the lady is looking for how to make ends meet,
Hmm.
decide to lose her sexual integrity. What do you have to say to this?
Well, if you lose your sex, if you start up if you build a foundation with a faulty act, no matter how high that house is a matter of time it will collapse. It will collapse. When you get into any work through sexual promiscuity, it is either you continue in it and be ready to pay that price as you are rising, or even when or you back out on abruptly. Now, even when you decide that you want to continue in it, the question is how how soon will it last? How long can you go with it? Because you will have challenges in life. If you started when you are not married, in a matter of time, when you marry, you will find out that the person who gave you that job sleeping with you is probably married or want to marry and cannot marry you because he can't trust you. So it's not even it's a no-go area. It's a no-go area. You don't get, because you are looking for job, because you need a favor in whatever means. Don't use your body as a sacrifice or a price to where you are going. Don't use your sexuality as a price to where you are going. It is not only dangerous, it is killing. Yes, even when the whole act is over and you have enjoy and have so much benefit from it, you see the recall of such act at a certain stage of life is enough damage to your system. It kills psychologically and it can affect the emotional ability of such person. And unfortunately today, that is what you see, around. And that is the reason why we have what we have. Look at what we have today. Many people are quick to divorce. You have problem of bitterness, you have problem of unforgiveness, you have so much singleness here and there because of some of these challenges. So this is just reality. So for me, whatever you miss today, as in you think that is supposed to be for you, if you miss it today, it will come your way another day. It will definitely come your way another day.
Thank
It's
you
not the
very
end
much.
of life. Thank you.
I would like to appreciate um, my wonderful mentor, Mommy Kemi Nelson, for joining us.
Oh,
I'd
that's
like
great.
to thank MC Dre for joining us. Thank you so much. God bless you. I would like to ask you, Dr. Dele Ajayi. I've seen a situation where some people who are spiritually informed, trust their pastors and they commit their female children into the hands of pastor that I want you to pray for my children at every point, at every stage they go in life. And unknowingly to their parents, those men of God are sexually abusing those children. And because they have spiritual authority, those children may not be, or those young ladies may not be able to confide in their parents. What do you think that such people going through such can do in order to maintain their sexual integrity?
Wow. This is a very, very, very serious one. Very, very serious one because it's a complete uh, field in itself. Now, for someone whom we have committed someone into his hand as a result of trust, and now betray that trust and then start sleeping with that. Now there could be so many factors that lead to it. Oh, so many. I've seen some men of God who will tell you it's because they are deprived by their wife. That is why they are messing up the way they are messing up. Some will tell you it is a lady that comes to seduce. That is why they are doing what they are doing. Some will tell you that it is the lady that is unintentionally not even seducing them, but now luring them, to do what they are doing. But the reality is this: those men of God, thank God we call them men of God. They are equally man before becoming ministers. They are men. They are first of all men. So they need to adhere to some of the things we have said earlier on. They need to be realistic with themselves. This girl that is coming into my house, will I be able to accommodate her? Will her physique not derail me? You see, we don't deceive ourselves. Don't let us call ourselves names that we are not. We are men. We are human. We are human. Even as men of God, we are still human. We are spiritually inclined, but then we are spiritually informed, but we are still human. So we should understand, what is my limit? How far can I go? Can I be able to take in this lady to the house and yet see her as my own daughter, or see her as my own blood? Even see some doing it with their own children, which is very disheartening. And it's something that we will condemn any day, any time. Apart from it is not godly, it is not human. There is no right person in his right mind. A father that will go, there is no excuse genuine for it, to start to go and sleep with your own daughter. So having said that, that man need to understand and be sincere to himself, and then put himself where he belongs. So, and there is no genuine excuse for anybody in the name of a man of God in court to go and sleep with anybody, any member. Yes, you see, we are in a spiritual state as God has helped us, that people today, some of us are so good in our acts that we go beyond the bound. In other words, we instead of us to see people and celebrate the people, we have become celebrity, that they celebrate us and they honor us so much that nobody query us, nobody question us, and then we have become so much authority, we have accused so much authority that even when you tell a lady, sleep, I want to do this, the lady will not question you. It's so bad. But I want to advise those ladies to begin to start querying, to start questioning. If there is nothing in your mind in the first place concerning that man, you should query that man, because that is not, if you are a good Christian, that is even wrong for you as a Christian to sleep with somebody who is not married to you as a lady. So why should your pastor ask you to sleep and then you too sleep? It's not only the pastor that has problem, you too have a problem. So that should be corrected.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Delia. Going back to the marital relationship,
Yeah.
and in the course of your marriage, has your wife denied you at any point in time, and what were you able to do?
Yeah, that one is a natural thing. There are so thank God for the question. And thank God for the person asking the question. Yeah, it's a natural thing. There are sometimes any of the spouse can feel that, oh, I want to, get down, and then the other spouse is saying no. No, not because such want to say no, but no because it is just the reality of the time. Yes, it's the reality of time. So sometimes it could be that the lady or the man is tired, like you asked me, As my wife denied me at any time. Of course, my wife has denied me at that sometimes I want to get down, my wife will say she's not strong enough, she's deep. And at that time, there's nothing I can do other to take care of myself. And when I say take care of myself, you know, I've been able to train myself enough to know that no is no, you know. So when you don't understand that, yeah,
I want to ask you a question.
okay,
You are saying that you have been able to train yourself to help yourself.
yeah.
Is it that you go into other things to ease off the stress, maybe like masturbation or whatever? How do you really help yourself?
No, 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 no. I don't encourage masturbation. That's another broad topic in itself. I don't in any way encourage masturbation. If you understand the masturbation, I mean, science will tell you that there's nothing probably wrong with it. But when you understand the psychological effect and the aftermath effect of masturbation, you will know that it's not good. So I don't encourage it. At that time, when I'm being denied by this same wife that is asking me question, you know, all I do, all I do is just to help myself from my heart, and then just to realize that every day is not Christmas, like they say. So and then just sleep off if I can sleep. If I cannot sleep off, I take my mind off it. It's a struggle. It's a struggle. It's not something you. It's not something that is easy. Sometimes it's not very very easy. As even when you say when the woman say no, if you have to beg, you will beg. If you have to do what you can to bring the woman to soft pedal, you do. But when the woman does not soft pedal, there's nothing you can do. Just let go.
Somebody is asking here, who is your wife, sir?
I answer the question yourself. I can see the question. So let my wife answer and lift up.
Somebody is asking, who is your wife, sir?
And
Babalawo is asking, who is your wife?
I can see the question. That's why I said that let my wife answer the question herself and lift up her hands. So you know yourself.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, thank you so much. Our time is fast then.
Wow.
We have just about 5 minutes to finish this session.
Yeah.
I'd like to ask, young people are getting involved in all kinds of sexual activity. Is it that they lack education and information? Is it that they lack morality when it comes to their sexuality? Or is it that, well, that is the in thing, and that's where we have found ourselves?
Yeah.
What do you have to say to
Yeah.
this?
The reality is with us today. You see the problem of rape here and there. You see the problem of promiscuity here and there. You see the problem of pornography here and there. So many young people who don't even, you know, they don't even count it. They don't see it. When the way we talk about integrity, they say what has integrity got to do with sexuality? You do what you want to do. You shake your face and then you clean up and then you go. You know, that's the way they see it. Some of them even see it as rubbish, you know, whatever we are saying. But the reality is this. Such, you know, young people, there is a problem of morality. There's no doubt about that. Today, we tend to be more, the younger ones tend to be more informed than the older one, and by so doing, they take it beyond the board, and then what they're supposed to know, really they don't know it. And in the midst of all this, there are still very good young ones, you know, that are doing excellently well, and sexual wise they are good. But there are quite a number of, you know, few ones out there who just take liberty for granted, and then the social media exposure, the peer pressure exposure, the civilization here and there, the inavailability of quality time from parenting, social, societal challenges and pressures, all these things cumulating together as like giving a platform for those young ones to do the evil they are doing, and you find them getting involved in the issue of rape and whatever. But it still fall down back that those young people don't really know who they are. They have a problem of identity. They have a problem of being realistic with themselves. They are not truthful with themselves. They don't really know who they are, and they just want to achieve things by all means, including sexuality, and that's why we find ourselves where they are. But I'm going to advise that when you get in, you see, every other thing you do affects the physical body. When you any every other thing you do that is wrong affects. But when you go into sexual promiscuity, it does not only affect your physical body, it affects your spirit. It damages and kills. And the act itself does not end when, the consequences does not end when it stops. The consequences can be taunting you 50 years, 90 years later. So I will ask those who are involved in rape, keep your thing, tie it to your neck, and let nobody control it. You should be the one controlling it. Put a brake on
Thank
it,
you very much.
and God will help you.
Thank you very much. Our time is fast spent. We have less than 3 minutes to go.
Okay.
As we close, I want you to just talk about the issue of some of the challenges that your people are going through in their marital relationship when it comes to their sexuality. What I mean by that is a lot of people are having challenges with their sexuality, but they don't know what to do. What is your advice as we close this?
Yeah, I said it just for the sake of emphasis. If you have a problem in your sexuality, go look for counselors and speak to them. We are available. You can give a call, you can send an email, you can try and get your information. There are books out there, there are so many counselors out there that can be of help. If there is a denial, there is a problem of excesses or whatever the problem is, sexual wise, it can be dealt with. So for me, let everybody, even if you are single or married, let everyone look for counselors and they will be able to help.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Has been an interesting time. I would like to thank Tiana 508 for joining us. I would like to thank everyone that's been here today. It's been an interesting time. Dr. Ajayi, thank you so much for being here to discuss sexual integrity. And I would like to say, let's do it one more time again, some other time.
Okay.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us.
Thank you.
And have a wonderful evening. Thank you, and bye.
Thank
Bless
you. God bless